Hey everyone, I'm Rod and Todd, a professional YouTuber who makes professional videos, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time for another Transformers review. So here we go. This is WFC-E4, Bombshock and Growl. They were released together in the micromaster size class as part of Wave 1 of the War for Cybertron Earthrise toy line. So anyway, as always, let's just start with the vehicle mode. I will start with Bombshock. So, Bombshock turns into this Earth mode tank thing. It's very green and very blocky, obviously. He has treads, just like they're fake treads, they're painted in silver. And on most Transformers tanks that have fake treads like this, they normally have tiny little wheels underneath so that it can still roll, but none so for Bombshock. He has no wheels whatsoever, which I find really interesting. So, no, he can't roll out at all. Got the Decepticon logo on the back of his tank mode, which I think is pretty cool. In terms of the turret, it can turn. However, for whatever reason, it can really only move this far. It's like it's on a track. You can get it to turn around 360 degrees, but it almost feels like breaking it by doing so. So I'm not going to do that. But there you go. You can do that. And his turret can raise and lower. You can just do something like this. There you go. So that's cool. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Bombshock's tank mode. It's the thing with these micromasters. I don't really have all that much to say about them. They're just kind of tiny little vehicles. But anyway, yeah, moving on to his buddy Growl. Okay, so Growl is like this orange, I want to say like armored car looking thing. I don't really know what they call it. He actually does have rolling wheels, and it rolls pretty well. Let's see, does he have the Decepticon symbol anywhere on him? I don't see any on his car mode. Does have this big silver cannon on the top, which that can rotate full 360 degrees. It is actually removable, and that's for robot mode. We'll get to that later, but you know, there you go. It's cool, you can rotate it. Got some nice paints on like the front bumper here and like the windows and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, there's Bombshock and Growl's vehicle modes. Bombshock's, I like the design of it, but it is a few weird little quirks, like the wheels missing, that I'm not really a fan of. But Growl's vehicle mode I actually really like. I think it looks pretty cool. Rolls pretty well for a Micromaster figure. The little cannon thingy's nice. So, yeah. Of course, once we get into robot mode, that position is going to completely flop. Or completely flip-flop, I should say. Wow. And since these are Micromaster figures, they came on a card, so I don't have the box to show off. So let's just move on straight to the robot modes. Okay, so here they are in their robot modes. As with the vehicle modes, we'll start with Bombshock. So, in terms of articulation, no head articulation. Bellagio went at the shoulders to move his arm out and forward, actually all the way around. You move it out a bit and all the way around. Then let's see, waist swivel, Bellagio at the hip. You can move it out for never mind, and back a bit, and bend at the knee. But something I have to point out about Bombshock is that he's really big and chunky. Like, I don't know, for a Micromaster, he's really boxy, and I kind of like that. He has some really good paint on his head, some like metallic blue, some yellow eyes. It's really good looking. Probably one of the better Micromaster robot modes, in my opinion. As I've said, I'm not really a big fan of any of the Micromasters from Siege or Earthrise. But, yeah, he's alright. Got some little painted and sculpted hands there. Kind of cute. I don't know. Turrets on his back. And unlike Top Shot from Siege, you can't do that thing where you can fold the barrel down and have it just be over his head, which I think kind of sucks, but whatever. You can just have him, like, lay down and pew pew pew. Oh yeah, Bombshock's pretty cool in robot mode, if I'm honest. But moving on to Growl, it's a different story. So in terms of articulation, he does have a ball joint at the shoulders to move it out, forward, and he would be able to move it all the way around, but not for, this. He does not have a waist swivel. His ball joint at the hips to move it out, forward, and hook it back a little, and bend at the knee. His, as I mentioned, the gun barrel from the top of the car is removable, and you can just put it on his arm there, so he actually comes with a weapon, which is really cool. And as with Bombshock, he has some really nice paint on his head. It's like this kind of metallic black looking stuff, red eyes, silver faceplate. That looks good. He looks good. The problem is, as with Trip Up from last week, you don't stand too good. The problem lies in the fact that like the entire vehicle mode ends up just on his back. This is the entire front of the car, and here's the top of it. So he has this massive backpack, which makes him incredibly top heavy. So he falls over pretty easily if you were to just have him standing over straight. So the only way to remedy that is the way that you used to do it with the old G.I. Joe Sonic fighters, by bending them forward to counterbalance it so that it stands up. However, this just looks stupid. At the very least, his head can kind of move back so he can still look forward. But yeah, that just looks stupid. Anyway, yeah, Bombshock and Growl. In terms of the robot modes, I like this one. I don't really like this one. They're both, pretty alright figures. I mean, they both have pretty great vehicle modes. Bombshock has a pretty great robot mode. Growl not so much. And as with every MicroMaster, they still do have that combined weapon mode thing, which I really don't want to have to talk about. But I guess I kind of have to. So, let's just get to that. Okay, so here they are in their weapon mode. To be honest, at least it doesn't look like two vehicles mating all that much. That's kind of a plus. But still, it does suffer from a lot of the same issues I have with, all the MicroMaster combined weapons. I mean, this one actually holds together pretty well, which I'm kind of surprised it does. I don't know, again, I never use this thing, so this is like literally like almost my first opinion on this. I don't really have very many. Okay, actually no, that's alright. Not having very many is a lie. Unless you count Astro Train, who was re-released from Siege. There's really only one Decepticon in Earthrise Wave 1, and that is Starscream. So let's just use him. Okay. So it does the same thing with Top Shot. They did in Siege, or as a tank turret become the handle the gun. Excuse me, let me try and just... There we go. It's kind of hard to do these things on camera when you gotta reach into the little review space. So sometimes it's easier for me to do this. And I'll be honest, Starscream actually supports this one pretty well. Better than Wheeljack's from last week, to where his armor could barely handle it. Of course, that's just with his arm sticking straight out. Let's see what happens if you do this. Wow, look at that. Okay, so I think Bombshock and Growl's weapon mode, it looks ridiculous, but it honestly gets a pass from me. It stays together well, it doesn't droop in the figure's hand, it doesn't make the figure's arm droop, and it doesn't really look like that horrible, so, honestly, I think Bombshock and Growl, their gun mode, I think it gets a pass from me, which isn't something I can say for a lot of MicroMaster combined weapons. So, yeah, I guess that's my review of Bombshock and Growl. Vehicle mode's pretty good. Robot modes, Bombshock is great. Growl sucks. Weapon mode, I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but it gets a pass from me, so, it's great. So, I'd honestly give these guys I don't know, 6 out of 10. I don't know, am I doing ratings now? I haven't done that ever, so there you go. So that's, but that's Bombshock and Growl. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through the whole routine. I'm just not in the mood for that right now. So, tune in next week as we move on to the deluxe class figures with Hoist. This has been Ron Todd signing up.